Oh, howdy all, grab yourselves a beer. It's time for some Path of Exile discussion. And today, patch 3.8.1 landed on the live servers, and this included a number of changes to Blight League game balance and also a number of bug fixes. So I thought I'd go through this and give you a bit of a sense of some of the big changes that were made and the effects they're having already on the game. So firstly, you'll see here, increase the amount of reward chests from each lane in Blighted maps. This is no joke. These have been more than doubled. Like, it looks like they're being tripled, and so you'll find that as a result, the price of Blighted maps has exploded, and you can see that pretty much every Blighted map here, the price has increased by a factor of about 2.5 in the last sort of 6 to 12 hours, with the odd exception of maps that just weren't in big supply previously. So yeah, absolute explosion in price there, and that's a predictable effect. Essentially, these now just give a lot more loot than they used to, and whenever you get a Blighted map, you should treasure it. It's a valuable piece of loot. So don't think of it as something like a lower-end unique map like, for instance, Maelstrom of Chaos. Think of it more as one of the top-end ones, like Doriani's Machinarium. Every single Blighted map is worth a lot now. So the rewards from Blighted maps can now include oils. Previously, the Blighted maps were on the oil drop table, and it looks like there's been some sort of change whereby Blighted maps no longer drop in the same way that they used to, and you can get oils within Blighted maps. Again, this increases the value of running every Blighted map that you get, and or at least assuming that you can win them. I also expect this is going to crash the price of the various oils that are in demand at the moment, so golden oils, silver oils, opalescent oils. The ones that have got some serious price behind them, expect that's going to crash them and push them back down to, well, given that they're pretty much a permanent, once they're used, you've got them forever effect, much like Divine Vessels. I don't think that they're going to hold much value at all in the long term, now that the drop rate's been increased. Now, reduce the amount of monsters that spawn during Blighted maps. The intention is to reduce the impact on performance while still retaining difficulty. So essentially, this is not quite a bug fix, but a fix for the situation where a large number of players were getting terrible performance in Blighted maps. I think this will be a real net positive. It will hurt some characters. Certainly it will hurt mine with my Ignite Proliferation Fireball character, but overall, I think it's a good change for the game. Stability is critical, and Path of Exile is not just designed to be played on monster gaming rigs. It's designed to be played on the higher spec multimedia PCs as well as lower spec gaming rigs. It's meant to work on those, and the Blight League mechanics hadn't previously been, so hopefully that'll impact that. Reduce the chance that Blighted monsters will create beyond portals, and removed some of the mods that Blighted monsters can have. This is purely about performance. Obviously, it'll remove some potential crazy mechanics that you can get with, spawning massive numbers of beyond bosses everywhere. But pretty much everyone that was doing that was crashing anyways, so I think it's for the better. Blighted monsters that can cast Proximity Shield no longer can cast a skill if they're inside a Proximity Shield, and Blighted monsters that have an active Proximity Shield will disable them if they become affected by another shield. So the whole idea here is to reduce the amount of calculations that are caused for the servers when you hit an entire pack of monsters and many of the monsters are immune, but you just keep firing and firing and firing and firing. This is really bad for game performance, and it's been fixed. Reduce the life of minions spawned by summoning towers, increase the amount of delay before they can be resummoned. So this is a pretty significant nerf for the low tier summoning towers, which were the most powerful of the towers, but I still think they're pretty good at them. They still feel strong. Increase the life of minions spawned by sentinel towers, but added a short delay before they are summoned again after dying. So the sentinel towers are the top tier minions, but they're the ones that go with the defensive side of things. I have never used them except once for the challenge. I just don't think they're very strong. I think there's better choices anyway, so these changes don't really matter because they're improving something that is too weak to use anyway, even after the improvement. Substantially increase the damage of minions summoned by a scout tower. Yep, I occasionally make them. I don't really think it's going to be that impactful because usually, at least at the moment, I'm finding I'm fine for killing the monsters myself. The only times I fail the blights are when I get killed by the monsters. It's not that I lack the... Or sometimes, actually, sometimes I fail a blight because one of the bosses is spawned, and I don't yet have the single target to burn it down. Increasing the damage that the Scout Tower, which is a top tier minion tower offensive version, does, will possibly help with that, but it's not some major change. Add a telegraphing effect to Knuckle Gnaw's Slam skill. I don't recognise that, so we'll see it. The split versions of Spore Plume now deal less damage, take more damage, and have a shorter attack range. So this was one of the most dangerous of the Blight-specific unique monsters. I think that'll be a significant improvement. Prophecies no longer trigger on Blighted maps. Yeah, okay, so a couple of silly challenges no longer work, but I think that's for the best. Again, performance improvement. They no longer interact with Atlas missions at all, which they sort of didn't already, but now it'll just be clearer. Hovering over a tower building UI element now shows it is less effective against blighted enemies of the same type. This is a really good change for demonstrating how the mechanics of the league work. So if a portal has, say, a fire image over it, that means that every monster that is spawned by that portal will be heavily resistant to fire. Not immune, but they will be heavily resistant. If they've got the minion icon, then it means that they have phasing, so they can just walk straight through your minions. They'll take damage from them, but they'll walk through them, and so the minions can't body block them, which is the most powerful thing the minions do. So it's just a good thing for purposes of newer players, people that haven't played this league very much. Just to make it clearer to them that that is what that icon means. It doesn't mean, hey, this thing is weak to fire, you should use fire on it. It means, hey, this thing is strong against fire, you should use anything else. Of note, this is not a sort of situation, as far as I know, where ice counters fire, fire counters ice, or anything like that. It seems like they're resilient against one type of tower, but they're fully susceptible to the rest. Updated names of ring enchantments. Yeah, that's cool. That's just a UI fix. Ball lightning skill used by one of the bosses now releases smaller ball lightnings as it travels. I haven't seen this one yet. I'm interested to see what it looks like, because that would be hilariously funny if there's just lightning everywhere. Yistral Winterstalker now uses a more dangerous version of his Thunder skill. Again, haven't seen this one, but it sounds dangerous. Fixed a bug where blight portals could spawn too close to the Ichor pump. Praise Toucan for that. Fix a bug where Rattleback Hollow Matriarch could become immune to damage if it died while petrified. That hasn't happened to me, but I know that it was annoying the hell out of a lot of people, so glad that bug is fixed. Fix a bug which prevented Banisher of the Cleanse from spawning. That'll be important for your challenges. Fix a bug where Blight Towers and minions summoned by Blight Towers were benefiting from map modifiers. This one sounds like it's a considerable nerf to the offensive power of towers, which I don't know. I'm not really using the towers that much. I'm sort of using them as not so much as a source of damage, although I do use them a little bit to help burn down the toughest of the bosses. But I mostly use them as a way to delay monsters so that I have more reaction time. I think that is sort of becoming the meta in this league, so for that reason, don't think it's going to matter very much. Fix a bug where, yeah, this is an important bug fix, nothing more. And more bug fixes, more bug fixes, more bug fixes. And so, yeah, you get... This one is a pretty important bug fix. Fix a bug where in Blighted maps, Cassia didn't warn you that monsters were close to the pump. That is... I mean, her voiceovers can get annoying at times when she gets sort of... say stressed and start screaming that the monsters are getting close. You know, the "do not let them reach the purification pump" that you hear all the time. But generally speaking, it's useful that she makes that. It's useful that she makes that cry, and so it'll be back. The problem that I find is that the times that you fail, usually this message won't help you because it comes too late. The bosses, you know, if a boss is coming and you didn't know about it, and then Cassia gives you this warning, you probably can't kill a boss in time. Likewise, the other times that you fail a blight, it's because you've been absolutely swarmed. You're either running or you're dead. So I don't think it's going to make much difference in practice, but it's a nice fix. Okay, oh yeah, another couple of bug fixes. And then this important bug fix. Fixed a bug where transforming an amulet into a talisman removed its anointed notable passive. So it is now safe to get Jorgen back into the research wing of your betrayal setup, and you may well want to do that because talismans generally, they're quite a bit stronger than other amulets in general, and I really like the way that talismans are being implemented now, where you set up a non-shape, a non-elder amulet, get the right explicit mods on it, then try to get the right talisman on it. And if you get the right talisman on it, you wind up with something absolutely incredible. Otherwise, it's still serviceable because none of the amulet implicits are amazing. It's still serviceable, and then you can go back and try again. Fix another silly little bug. Now, there's a whole section of miscellaneous improvements as well, which is mostly pretty minor stuff. So you'll see that there's a UI bug fix there. There's another UI bug fix. There's a couple of fixes to Smoke Mine, the skill which was basically unusable in a whole lot of situations. Was unusable if you had the skitterbots active, and it was unusable if you were throwing multiple mines by any means. Now, there's a couple of other changes as well. Burning Infernal Legion on skitterbots is hilarious. I never even thought that was a possibility, but it is, and you can now put burning damage support and elemental focus and Infernal Legion on there. That'll be quite funny to see. Then there's just a whole lot of little bug fixes that have been, things that have needed to happen. Nothing that really jumps out. One thing I will state is that the bug that other people have been experiencing, I haven't copped this myself, where the game crashes completely and pops up a window saying present with nothing else on it. That bug has changed. That bug was fixed, and there's a new bug introduced that is exactly the same sort of situation. It's a hard crash to desktop. It usually gets your character killed, so if you're in hardcore, sorry, there's not much you can really do to stop this. And instead of saying present though, now it says map. Anyway, that's a bit of a summary of the changes that have been made in 3.8.1. It's a pretty welcome patch, and I think it's going to make the league feel a bit smoother. The big impact though is these first two lines, the increased rewards in Blighted maps. You're already seeing that. The market has already reacted with these prices and how the Blighted maps have exploded in price. You will, if you log in and you've had Blighted maps up for sale at sort of aspirational prices, like I had a couple listed at sort of 35 chaos and for lower tier maps, and I was getting massive amounts of pings from people using their automatic searches. So just be conscious that's likely to happen. These are now worth a lot more than they were, and they're worth that because people are actively running them. And the other big change, of course, is Blighted maps containing oils. So those are the big ones, and then a lot of important bugs. Anyways, if you've got any changes or any other feedback about 3.8.1, definitely mention it in the comments below. Otherwise, I hope you have a good one.